Why am I not satisfied? I have a wonderful husband. I mean, he loves me with every breath. Of course, I love him now and have loved him for many years. He provides great support to our family. The girls adore him. He's a great person to be around. Neighbors are not shy about asking him for help with anything computer-related, and believe me, they ask for a lot. I never suspected that he wanted another woman other than me. He doesn't even flirt. Derek almost always satisfies me in bed and gets upset if I don't reach my peak. I know he's a pretty good lover because I had a few lovers before we got married to compare. Derek was the best I've ever had, but I came to the conclusion that my knowledge base was over 20 years old. For most of our marriage, it never occurred to me to stray, at least until the incident with Roger. See, as I approached 45 and wasn't too far away from being an empty nester, I found myself needing more reassurance that I was still an attractive woman from someone other than my husband. Even though Derek always said I was more beautiful than ever, I can see myself in the mirror. Breasts that were pert are now sagging. Wrinkles appear on smooth cheeks. I need to dye the gray in my hair. The butt that once fit in the chair is now starting to go beyond the limits. I can look good with makeup and the right dress, but for how long? I began to imagine in my dreams what another lover might do. I started thinking about how I could discreetly meet other men if I took the risk. Sometimes, when Derek and I made love, I would remember other men, such as television and movie stars. New, handsome, young guys who came to our office could excite me. I started sexing my work wardrobe, short skirts, bras that lifted my breasts, and one more button undone on my blouses. Compliments from men at work have increased. Changes in my wardrobe have been noticed. Roger was a nice man who flirted with me for several years at work, but I never took it seriously until one day I was feeling particularly frisky. It seemed like a bluff when we were left alone. He immediately saw through my bluff and locked the door to my office. Feelings that had been building up for months caused my morals to spontaneously combust. Without thinking about the consequences, I attacked him passionately and furiously. The clothes were taken off, my table was cleared, everything happened quickly, and there was détente. It was amazing. We were lucky we weren't caught. Our clothes were put on in record time. He left and I sat in the chair, stunned, before putting the things back on the table. I used a lot of facial wipes and had to spray air freshener to kill the smell of sex. The excitement of what we did was amazing. It took a good hour to get back into working mode. This supposed one-off fling left us both wanting more. Recognizing that our first time was too dangerous, we planned a more secret repeat. Once again, we managed to please each other and not get caught. Short, secret meetings soon became simply not enough for us. Roger came up with an idea for us to go on a cruise together. For 2 weeks we will be alone with no one around who could inform us. I thought for a long time about how to approach Derek that I would be leaving for 2 weeks. Perhaps I'll use the half-truth method. I will tell him that I need a temporary trial separation to restore my old middle-aged spirit. I want to have time to think about the future of our family, talk to other people, have fun, and be free to temporarily explore some new relationships with other people. Derek will have the same freedom from me while I'm gone. After 20 years of marriage and sex with only one woman, he would probably like to take a little break from marriage. I doubt Derek will date another woman, much less do anything with her, while I'm away for a while. He loves me so much that he'll probably just wait and take me back. He might pout a little, and I might have to promise not to do it again. I know Derek will endure a lot to keep the wife he loves and his family intact. Additionally, he will likely realize that his finances will take a big hit in the divorce. That's why I'm sure he won't do anything too drastic because of my spiritual quest. I fully intend to return to be a faithful wife after the cruise. In fact, I'm already looking forward to it. In fact, I plan to smother Derek with all the sex and attention he can handle as soon as I get back. I think that 2 weeks of unrestrained sex on a cruise will satisfy my desires so much that I will stop seeing Roger for a long time, maybe forever. If that doesn't happen, Roger and I will have to figure out an even safer way to meet. But I will have to avoid seeing him for several months after I reunite with my husband. I don't want to risk my future sharing my children, grandchildren, and retirement with Derek. We'll have to be very, very careful. Now, I just need to approach Derek the right way, when he is in a good mood. Data. Lydia and I finished the session, which was somewhat reminiscent of lovemaking. I say kind of because I can tell that Lydia's heart wasn't quite in it. Oh, she made all the appropriate love sounds and expressions of how good it was. The fake discharge, however, almost made me laugh. However, she was able to bring me to climax, which seemed to be her goal. As we lay on our backs in bed, she apparently decided it was time to broach the subject I had been expecting. "Derek, you know that I love you, right?" I thought. Finally, here it is. Thank God I'm ready. I played along with her. "Yes, darling. And I know you love me, right?" "Absolutely, my dear. If I really needed something that could help me a lot, you would let me do it, right?" "Of course, dear. What do you want?" As if I didn't know. "I mean my whole life, body and soul, to reevaluate everything, including our marriage and my motherhood. I think I could do this only with a temporary trial leave from my duties as a wife and mother. You guys could probably take a break from me too. We will all feel better when I return, rested and more dedicated than ever to being the best wife and mother I can be. I feel like I need some time to explore." "Wait, where are you going?" I went out into the corridor and shouted towards the girls' rooms. "Girls, wake up. The time has come. Bring your things to the kitchen." "Okay, Dad. We're not sleeping yet. We'll be there now." "Derek, what's going on? Why do girls come here?" "There is no need to tell them anything now. We still have a lot to discuss. We will have enough time to tell them everything. Lydia, our girls are part of the family that you just announced that you want to change. Both of them are old enough to understand what you want and what the consequences of it are. We all, as a family, need to discuss what needs to happen. I think it's best if we all sit around the kitchen table and each of us gets a chance to speak." I went down to the kitchen despite Lydia's request to talk to me alone. The coffee seemed delicious to me, so I made myself a cup. I didn't offer to make coffee for Lydia. Lydia seemed to be losing courage. "Derek, you're making too much of this, honey. I'm just asking for some personal time. Leave with your boyfriend, Roger." "We know." Lydia looked shocked. "Roger? Why are you tying him up? He's just a friend at work. I need time to figure it out. How to have sex with Roger without sneaking and still be able to choose between him and me with the girls. We know." "You know? What are you talking about? I'm just suggesting that you take a little break and let me neglect your responsibilities as a wife and mother. Well, we'll give you a break. Only we call it a divorce, not a trial divorce or a vacation from marriage." "Derek, you are overreacting to my words. There is no reason to talk about divorce. It will just be September." "Girls, why do you need your suitcases?" "Girls, I'm very sorry. I couldn't wait. Why don't you talk to your mother while I go get my suitcase?" I went upstairs, but voices were coming from the kitchen. "Girls," Lydia spoke, "I'm afraid your father has the wrong idea about what I asked." Alicia spoke first. "Be truthful, Mom. We have known for several months what you and your lover are up to." "Well, I have no idea what you're talking about." "Yes, of course," Eddie intervened. "We're talking about your Wednesday lunches that turned into quick Wednesday lunches that are about to turn into a 2-week cruise with Dodger Roger." "What? You can't know. I mean, I didn't do anything like that. Roger is just someone I have lunch with sometimes." Alicia took the initiative into her own hands. "Oh, really? The first time you two decided to take your lunch break in your executive inn room, your dad got a call. Your office was looking for you. You and Roger have exceeded your hourly lunch limit. Dad said he has no idea where you are. When you returned home that evening, he made up a story about how he came to pick you up after dinner and didn't find you. You lied and told him you were dating your boss." "It wasn't a lie. It was the honest truth. I was at a meeting with Mr. Albright. The secretary must have made a mistake. You know, she's not the most reliable person in the world." "Since when did Roger become your boss in the room at the executive inn, his office?" "In any case, that's when Dad decided to hire a private detective." We have a lot of videos and photos. It's true, Mom. This loser is not nearly as good-looking as our father. You became a cheater in your old age. How dare you talk to your mother like that? How dare you do what you do instead of acting like our mother? I heard Lydia answer with some anger in her voice. If your father suspected something, why didn't he tell me directly and stop me? He clearly didn't think it was that important. I think it was Alicia who said, Mom, you have a ring on your finger that says, Daddy should never tell you not to have sex with another man. You agreed to renounce everyone else in your marriage vows. Dad said that if he had stopped you this time with Roger, your desire for another man would have only been temporarily put on hold. By the time you are ready to try again, you would have learned to hide your deception better. Well, he could have said something. He should have said something if it was bothering him that much. It just shows that he doesn't care whether I enjoy another man's innocent attention or not. I don't understand why he suddenly became so jealous. No, Mom. He didn't tell you anything because he needed time to prepare. His lawyer and accountant were working to stop you from getting your dirty little hands on his money in a routine divorce. He didn't want the threat of financial ruin to influence his decision whether to stay married or not. A few weeks later, he came to us and told us what was happening. He showed us a video. What we saw and heard disgusted us. Eddie and I told him we were on his side. The Pope explained that modern divorce laws favor the wife no matter what she has done to break her marriage vows. As I said, his lawyer and accountant have spent the last couple of months reducing your overall bills. I bet you didn't know that, thanks to you, Eddie's education and mine are now fully funded. What? It must have cost him a fortune. Where does he get the money from? Oh, shit. I understand now. He knows I won't try to get my college money back. This is downright mean of him. And you two conspired with your father against me, didn't you? No, Mom. It was you and your lover who conspired against our family to either turn a blind eye to your lasciviousness or allow you to destroy us while you run away with your lover and a big chunk of Daddy's money. We were just covering our asses. And it takes a lot to cover your ass, sis. Eddie's remark made them both giggle. Little creature, big beast. And now, girls, I said, going downstairs with my suitcases. Lydia looked shocked. Derek, maybe we can all calm down and talk about this. I admit that I may have made a big mistake. I really don't want a separation, much less a divorce. I'll tell Roger that I was wrong to want to spend some time with him. I'll never see him again. I promise. I never intended to divorce you or move away with Roger. I just wanted to have some fun with someone else. Too little, too late, darling. I understand that you and Roger have already paid for 2 weeks on the Love Boat. In my humble opinion, you two really need to enjoy the trip, because I expect life will be significantly more difficult for you two when you return. What do you mean by this? Firstly, you will have to take care of all the household chores and other responsibilities yourself because the girls and I will live in a new apartment. Secondly, oh, Dad, which one did we buy? Please let it be the one with the hot tub. It was available the day before yesterday when I last checked. We may have to spend a couple of nights in a hotel room until we find out if it's available, but I'm pretty sure we'll get the apartment we want. The girls were joyfully excited. Like I said, secondly, I don't think you'll be here alone. Eventually, Roger will need somewhere to live, Madge told me. Madge, do you know Roger's wife? Our trip shouldn't matter to her. She does not care. Either way, their divorce is almost finalized. I guess it was Roger who told you about it. The truth is that their divorce was a surprise to Madge when I met her almost 2 months ago. She waited and prepared with us so that she would be ready to respond as soon as you two broke the news. I called her a few minutes ago while I was upstairs. I think Roger is being kicked out of their house now. She said something about her older brother coming to help her get rid of the trash. He told me that she had already agreed to the divorce and didn't mind us going on a cruise or something. Roger told his wife that he had to go to California for a 2-week internship. A week ago, she clarified with her boss that no training was expected. Did she talk to Mr. Albright? Yes. Oh, yes. What a coincidence. He's your boss, too. This brings us to number 3. When you and Roger return from your trip, you won't have to go back to work. Your and Roger's boss was waiting for my signal to fire you both. He agreed to wait, and in the meantime, chose a replacement. He won't do anything like that. Roger and I are valuable collaborators. You and Roger are employees whose actions allow Madge and I to sue your company for allowing communication while on the job. He was very pleased when Madge and I agreed to drop the lawsuit if you were both fired. It shouldn't have been like this at all, Lydia cried. No, it was you who should have remained a faithful wife and mother. We were supposed to grow old, retire, and enjoy our grandchildren together. Instead, you decided to alienate your family, significantly reduce the amount of money you would have, and tarnish your reputation beyond repair. Derek, I can't believe you're treating me so badly. I thought you loved me. What else are you going to do to annoy me? Glad you asked. If you fight a divorce, an edited version of your escapades with Roger will go to your parents, relatives, co-workers, neighbors, and they just might end up on a pornography site, though with Roger's small spear it probably wouldn't be too popular. This cannot be. Derek, I love you. I always returned home. I just wanted to be alone for a while. In about a month, everything will return to normal. And now you've come at me for no reason. Of course, all these years of marriage are worth cutting me some slack. You all should give me some forgiveness and a second chance. Actually, no. You had a second, third, fourth, etc. chance every time you decided to meet Roger instead of doing what a wife and mother was supposed to do. As for what this marriage was worth, 3 months ago it was worth everything to me. It was then that I realized that our marriage and our children meant nothing to you, or at least much less than before. Lydia, you hurt me very much. I was so depressed that I could have done something to myself if it was just the two of us. I thought about giving in to you, but then I decided that through my actions I would teach our girls what they should not do with their future husbands. I thought about going through with a normal divorce, but the image of not being able to see my girls whenever I wanted helped me come to my senses while fighting the madness. After my lawyer told me about getting a divorce in favor of my wife despite adultery, I was motivated to see you and Roger get as little reward and as much punishment as possible. I think you'll soon see that we've done a pretty good job. Now listen to me, Derek. You can't just pick up and leave with the kids. I'm their mother. The court will grant me custody in a divorce. I'll charge you with kidnapping if you take them. Don't think I won't do it. Perhaps you are partially right. However, my lawyer and I decided to postpone all procedures until Edie was old enough to officially say who she wanted to live with. Alicia has already signed the notarized statement. I admit that you can force Edie to stay with you, but it probably won't be a good experience for you. Yes, Mom. What do you think? I used to be a rude and impulsive girl. Just wait until I start skipping school, experimenting with drugs, and having sex with boys. If this doesn't work, I'll complain that your boyfriend, Roger, is sexually harassing me with your support. So, as you can see, Lydia, we are ready. And you? Obviously not the way I thought. You were supposed to accept the trial breakup and maybe be upset, but in a few months you would take me back like a prodigal son. No harm, no foul. I really didn't want to get a divorce. I just wanted you to think that divorce is too much to pay for my vacation for a couple of months. Now, I don't know what to do. It's none of my business at the moment, but I would suggest trying to figure out how you're going to survive with a house and its bills without a regular income. You can sell the house and get half the equity. If this works out, you will have enough money to last until you find a job. Lydia. As Derek and the girls were about to leave, the phone rang. This is probably Roger looking for a place to stay. Don't let him use my things except for yourself, of course. They disappeared before I could call out to him. Hello? Lydia? You know we've been caught. Yes, they just left. Bastard, things aren't going the way you said they would. I shouldn't have fallen for your bullshit. Hey, I didn't seduce you. You attacked me in your office. I may have been hot, but you were on fire. There is no use arguing now. We need to decide what to do to save our marriages and jobs. Can I come? Madge kicked me out. I really can't afford a motel. I guess it doesn't matter now. But hurry up. I need to try to get some sleep today. Maybe tomorrow we can do something to at least save our jobs. Can you pick me up? I don't have my car keys and I don't want to go back and deal with Madge again tonight. Data. The night of the confrontation was the last time we were together as a family. Before the divorce hearing was scheduled, Lydia disappeared. The house was quickly sold. She took her half of the capital and all our savings and checks, I think, out of spite. I wasn't worried. Most of our property went towards prepaying for the girls' college. My share of the house was only about $20,000. We took out a home equity loan a few years ago to build a back deck and patio, so our equity at sale was lower than it was a few years ago. I used the money from selling the house to replace our emergency fund that I used to fund the kids' college. With my income and no alimony, I didn't really need the money. In the end, due to Lydia's actions, I decided to wait a year and go through with the divorce due to her absence, which would prevent her from coming back to me later for money or custody. I was not interested in her return. Roger surprisingly stayed in the area. I heard that he found a low-paid job and lives modestly, on his own. Madge recently told me that she is engaged to one of her divorced neighbors, but is in no rush. I got burned once, I got embarrassed twice. Good for her. The girls and I are doing well. Now they are both in college. Alicia graduates next year. Edie could graduate in 3 years, although she is considering joining the Marines. The girls correspond with their mother on Facebook, but do not share information with her about me or with me about her, as I requested. I work at my old job and have a friend with benefits who is a divorced school teacher. Now that my girls have moved out and her son is heading off to college, she'll probably move in with me soon. We didn't talk about marriage, but we did talk about commitment and exclusivity. My sex life has never been better. She takes pills and we use condoms. You know I have to be on my guard. Lydia Derrick knew, of course. The girls are willing to keep in contact with me, but they said that their father does not want to give information about him or receive information about me. God, it's like the first 20 years of our marriage were nothing. In those years, I was a good wife and mother. Damn it. I worked a lot at home and at work. My money, along with Derrick's money, went towards maintaining the house, girls, cars, and all our bills. I contributed enough that I didn't feel guilty about taking the rest of our checks and savings, what little was left after Derrick went crazy. Fund a women's college in advance? A brilliantly smart move on his part. How could I dispute this? I'm not such a creature as to chase this money. I think the real question is, how big a creature was I? Did I deserve all the punishment that was inflicted on me after 245 months of being a good wife and mother, and only 3 months of being a bad one? I didn't deserve what happened to me, at least not everything. In fact, it wasn't 3 months of bad behavior, but 3 months of stupidity. Roger wasn't such a good prize. Much of its value lay in the thrill of secrecy and the thrill of taking such risks. Once I faced the consequences, the value of my relationship with Roger dropped to 0. The poor guy wanted to move in with me, said I owed him for ruining his marriage. Why did I leave the city? I was an unfaithful wife and a liar, and with the photographs to prove it. I felt like everyone knew what I did. I didn't trust that Derrick wouldn't release the video and add to my embarrassment in front of the people who knew me. Overnight, he transformed into Dr. Avenger. When I left, I hoped to start over until Derrick calmed down and thought about taking me back. So here I am, waiting. I have a good job. I worked in finance for a health insurance company. I was the one who had to discuss with clients why they should pay any money, even if they have insurance. Now I work at a hospital trying to explain to people why they should pay the hospital any money when they have insurance. Fortunately, Mr. Albright, my former boss, was honest about my abilities and why I was fired. My new boss said he was willing to take the risk of hiring me, but warned that any whiff of my lecherous smoke would be a reason for him to put out the fire. I have a nice little apartment. I don't need much. I don't have much of a social life. Unfortunately, I spend a lot of time on a special chat site for women who have been dumped for cheating, It's amazing how well I got off compared to some of the women in the chat. Hey, I still look good. Derek knows that I can be a good wife and mother. Does he really want to go through the whole middle-aged dating scene for a new wife? I'll wait a little. I hope the girls will finally crack down a little more and work on their dad for me. Derek was preparing for our divorce. I will prepare for our reconciliation. I spent a lot of time thinking about the good years. It's not difficult. A song, a picture, a smell, a word, and I go to the land of memories. My heart hurts strangely when I do this. I cry often. I can't believe Derek doesn't do the same, especially when he's with the girls. How many of his memories of girls include me? He must miss me. He must. We meant too much to each other for me to stop mattering to him. Derek, please find that place in your heart that still wants to love me, wants to forgive me, wants to give me a second chance. I will never betray you again. I was stupid to throw away 20 wonderful years of walking the same path together. I hope he won't be so stupid and will forgive me after such a small zigzag. Will it come true? What's your opinion about OP? Thanks for joining us in our stories where revenge is served hot. Please consider subscribing to our channel to ensure your next chef remains loyal. Tune in for the next one to get your revenge appetite fulfilled. If you're below 18, hold on, it's not for the faint-hearted.